Dobra utra raboisai. We are in Slonim. Very long day. As you'll see later on in the Shir, right after the Mishna on Amud Beis, live from Majdanek in the crematorium. In the crematorium. Very rough stuff. We're here with Yad Yisrael and Ramosha Fima, who put together a beautiful meal for us with a lot of his Talmidim. As you might be able to see, we did a Dobra Utra with the Talmidim. I understand that there are a bunch of graduates from Yad Yisrael who do this shir on a daily basis. So shout out to you, wherever you are around the world. It's a beautiful moisad, and everybody was very nisragish when we heard the words from Ramosha Fima. Baruch Shafnas, who comes to this shir every day, he's the famous Baruch, the one who I try to convince to come to the shir. And he looked at me, he said, I am in your shir. I've been every single day for 2 years. A Maisa Shahaya. This just goes to show, Rabbi Shapir doesn't find it amusing and funny, b'chlal. And he's right. It's partially because it's just the way I operate, my memory and whatever it is. Like my special koiches like Baruch Hu gave me allows me to forget people that sit there every single day. But he's a very, very quiet, anivas person. And he worked here in Belarus. We're in Belarus. It took a lot of hard work. Took a tremendous akar satayv to Yossi Klein and Benzi Friedman and working with Yad Yisrael for a very, very long time and many hours. That's why there are not a lot of people that come to the cave of the Chavetz Chaim. It's very difficult these days to get here. And when it's such a big privilege for us to do that journey, each and every one of us was interviewed, and our phones were taken from us, and they went through our pictures and our WhatsApps and v'chulu. We can't even talk here because who knows what's going to happen if we say. It's maybe the only country in the world that has the KG. I'm not going to even say the last. I don't want to get pulled over when we come out, but they still operate here in this country. So we are in Belarus, in Slonim in Belarus. It's a big schos to be able to learn Torah in so many different cities, even if it's a little bit, a little amount. These are the cities that our forefathers grew up in, and it's a schos to have Reb Baruch. These are people, and these are Litvische people for the most part, versus, I'm saying like, if you're Lubavitch, so you grow up like that, and it's like, it's normal to live in, we were in a shul here, what was it called? Hegdish. In Brisk, we daven mincha. Okay, so we almost take it for granted. But here are people that there's a Rebbe was telling me he's 18 years here and his mishpacha is begging him to come back. And Rafima was here since he's 19 years old. Rabbi Tzvi told him to come here. The Mesiras Nefesh to come, and Reb Baruch was here for 9 years. Mamash Mesiras Nefesh. There's nothing here, no Yiddishkeit, nothing. So we tip our hats to them. We're nispal that people are doing this Avodas HaKodesh. The shir is sponsored, the koil of the month. Binyomin Rosenfeld for Hatzlach business, Masechta for the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Lucky you. The internet is not working on my computer, so many of the sponsors didn't come in, so I can't read them. I don't know who they are. Yosef ben Chayil, Lili Nishmas, Yosef ben Chayil, Lili Nishmas, Zechariah ben Moshe, and Binyomin Rosenfeld with gratitude to Biderman, Rebelli, Gedale, Fenster, and Michael Safdie. Parnas HaChodesh, Eli Stefansky, and Dr. Moshe Tzvi Dauber for the refuah, shleima, and the safe, speedy return of our Chayalim. To explain to Rabbi Shapiro, what happened was, I started the Hebrew shir, l'schus the Chayalim, l'schus the matzav. But somebody complained, he was an officer in the army, and he said, you don't mention the Chayalim. So I said, okay, I'm going to sponsor a month. And a bunch of people jumped in, matching Rabbi Eli's donation, l'schus the Chayalim for the month. Start of the month for schus for Rabbi Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. It is late at night, and we had a whole journey to get here. And it's 11:40 at night, which is really 12:40 in Eretz Yisrael. and until we get to our hotel, we don't anticipate to getting to the hotel until 2 a.m. So it's mamish schus and the mysterious nefesh of the people that do the daf. If we weren't doing the daf, we'd be on just a trip, and we wouldn't be learning today probably. Most of us would maybe open up, I don't know, Shnai Mikra, maybe, I don't know what, to learn the 2 words, but here we are, we're going to be Koveya Itim. Says the Heilige Mishna Daf Ayin Ches Amud Aleph. HaMoicher is a chamor, lemochar kelov. So there's 2 ways to look at a donkey. A donkey is either, it's like today, you have a car to get from point A to point B for traveling purpose, and you have like a truck to carry things. So a donkey could serve the purpose of transportation or to, I guess it's also called transportation. How do you say it? Freight, very good, freight. So it does not include all these other things like the saddle and other things that come together with a donkey. We'll see exactly what yes, what not. It does include everything. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Pamim Mechurim, Pamim Ein Mechurim, depends. Keitzad, Hayachamar Lefanav a Kelev Olav. So it's kedai to remember this. Rabbi Yehuda says the Kelev Olav, the whatever it is, was on him. V'amar Lo Machar Li Chamar Chazeh, as the Gemara is going to explain, when you point to this donkey, you know what it is. You say Zeh. This one means as is. Why do you have to add those words? You know it's his. You obviously meant. Harei Kelev Mechurim, you obviously meant you want his Kalim as well. Chamar Chahu, but if you use a different lashon, not Zeh, you say Hu, Ein Kelev Mechurim. Omar Ula, Machloikis Bisak. So now we have funny words. When we have these funny words, then we have pictures. Sak, Vidiskaya, Bechumni. So here we go. Let's see. You have pictures? You don't have pictures? Here, Diskaya. Boom. Show this one. Diskaya is a saddlebag. Ukov, we didn't have yet. Kumni, that's the interesting one. It looks like a saddle, the one on the left, but it's not a saddle. It acts as a saddle, but it's a saddle for women for the most part. I'll show you what we had to find, like a more tznius, a picture. So women in those days would ride a donkey like this. More tznius maybe, and it's not so posh that that's how it is, but just for lahamchesh esa'ayin, how do you say? For illustrative purposes. Anyway, it's it's like a saddle, but it's not a saddle. It's a saddle for women. It's a tremendous nafkamina. Why? You're going to see that if, and this is not a biased thing, male, whatever. Misogynist. Okay, we have the mumcha here in the word. I'm going to say, I'll say kimat and you'll say the whole thing. But that's not what I was talking about. I wanted to say something else. The male chauvinist. Okay, fine. Misogynist, fine. So he says like this. When a male rides a donkey and both of his legs are on both sides, he's riding it, it's easier on the animal and he's leading the animal. When a woman is on it, somebody's leading her more. She's not driving the animal. She's more like freight. That's not the right word. She's passive, but it's more like masui. How do you say masui in English? Not a burden. She's like a load versus. There's a driver and there's a passenger. There's a rider and a passenger. So when you sit with your 2 feet on the other side like that, you're more of a load than riding the animal. Says the Mishnah, the Gemara. The Tanakama Sover Stam Chamar Lirkov Koi. Most of these animals are to ride, to get from point A to point B, and therefore the woman, this kumni, let's go back to the kumni, this is not included because this is not for riding. This is more for a masa, this is more for a load. Not true. A donkey is lamasu. And you can go, each one will stick in their own musar here, chamor lamasu, and it has to do this, the Torah, okay. Stam chamor lamasu koi. Aval ukaf, umar das. When it comes to a saddle and a blanket, kilkali, v'chavok, these are types of straps here. Show you like over here. This strap right over here is the kilkali, and the chavok is another type of strap that grabs from the front of the animal. So I'll tell you this Maisa. I don't know if you heard it, if I said it in the last week or two. Could be I said it yesterday, I don't even remember. When I was about 10 years old, my father, Lizenk, he wanted me to steig away in learning, so he sent me to high school in Tifrach. And we just moved from America, and I was very into sports. And I got to this place in Tifrach, and I said, okay, it's recess time, where are the sports? And they said, what sports? They had no idea what I was talking about. And I found out very quickly, there's no basketball, there's no baseball, there's garnish. So what does a 10, 11-year-old kid do? So one of the things I try to do, just to entertain myself, was to catch the donkeys that were roaming around in the deserts of Tifrach. And I really couldn't catch them because as soon as you got close to them, they'd run away. I devised the whole plan, and finally one day I caught one, and I brought it into Tifrach. I came from around, and I chased it towards Tifrach. I got all tired, and I had a guy jump out from behind the bush. We caught it. And besides the fact that the Yeshiva thought it would be a good idea to yell at me and embarrass me in front of the whole yeshiva, and he said, look at this guy, this crazy kid comes from America, and he thinks he's going to catch donkeys in the middle of Seder. What kind of business is this? Oh, drush he gave me. But I learned a lot about donkeys. Baruch Hashem, I'm a big mumch in donkeys. And, but we didn't have saddle. That we didn't have, but we had a blanket. And we would ride this donkey from time to time. We fed it occasionally. And that was our donkey for the rest of the Zman. So I think it was actually owned by some of the Bedouins. Okay, but it was ours. Why? What's the nafkamina between a blanket and a kilkle? Why is that for sure included in the sale? The answer is because regardless of what you consider a donkey, whether it's for masui or l'rechiva, whether it's for freight or for riding it, you always need these things. These things come standard with the donkey. So Mela, it's included in the sale. Meisvei chamor v'kelov ani moichelach. Here, it says Mefurish, I'm selling you a donkey with the items that go along with the donkey. But he said Mefurish the word v'kelov. Hareze mochar za'uka v'samardas v'sakilka v'sachavak. That includes everything. Avalei mochar sak v'diskaya v'kumni. But not the skaya v'kumni, and that we said, the woman's here, we'll show it again, this guy. The one on the left, the kumni is what women sit on sideways. Does not include that. But if he said straight out, I'm selling you everything that's on the animal, doesn't matter what, even the kumni is sold. So the Gemara is medayik, it's only because he said the donkey and everything with it, that's why he gets the saddle. We are saying that you get a saddle automatically. It seems from the Mishnah you have to say chamar v'kelov. If you don't say the word v'kelov, you don't get a saddle. Says the Gemara, you don't have to say v'kelov. The saddle is included anyway. The chiddush is no, not that you have to say chamor v'kelov. The chiddush is that even if you say chamor v'kelov, you still don't get certain items. What don't you get? Sag with this guy kumni loy kani. You don't get the kumni. My kumni. What is this kumni that we're talking about? This is how the women would ride the donkey. So I don't think, unfortunately, you had from this morning. In the morning you did it. The one with the donkeys, the 4 boxes. Here, let me just show you what I did. And Yoshi improved my little chart. This I did on the bus, and I send it into Hersh Yisrael, and he does a little bit better. And we have a bunch of them that he did, but I don't know. You have it? You don't have it? Okay, doesn't matter. For the bus, it's good enough. There's a blue line in the middle. There's a top. Don't worry about it. The other one will get it without the pictures. Okay, we'll continue. If it pops up, it pops up. it just makes it more interesting. This is what I have. It's funny. This is all that uploaded. But he'll get it. So basically, it's very, very simple. There's two ways to understand the Gemara, the top two boxes and the bottom two boxes. As usual, red means no, green means yes, and purple in this case means, I don't know, it's machlokes. Okay. So, if I'm purchasing an animal and the stuff on the animal, different things on the animal, so al-khamar means on the animal, al-karka, there's only two options, on the animal and off the animal, that's it. But there's really two options in terms of where the machlokes is. Is the machlokes when the stuff is on the animal itself? That's even a bigger chiddush. Even in that case, it could be that he didn't really include all the stuff. Or, no, the machlokes, if it's on the animal, of course it's included. Why shouldn't it be included? You bought let's say, here, I'll give you a good example. Today you buy a car. Does it include the roof, what is it called? The roof where you put the luggage? The roof rack. I could hear such a shiloh. Maybe if I buy a car, it doesn't include the roof rack. That's already an added item. But it's on the car? Maybe not. So there's one way to look at it, that even it's ala chamar, even it's on the roof rack, it's on the car, it's a machlokes. But on the ground, if the roof rack is laying next to the car, of course it's not included. Or no. The machlokes is when it's laying on the ground. It's laying right there, and I'm buying a car, maybe it includes also this thing that's laying there. I'm buying a donkey, maybe it includes also the saddle that's laying next to it. But if it's on the donkey, if the roof rack, of course it's included. I think today we most likely would say that it's included, right? If a roof rack, in terms of a roof rack. Okay. So, says the Gemara, Iboilu. Here's the Shiloh. Is it like the top two boxes or the bottom two boxes? By the way, the machlokes is the machlokes when it's on top of the donkey. That even in a case of, let's say, a saddle, which is not the woman's saddle, a man's saddle, I would agree to Nacham Hamadi that it's not included because it's not on him, it's not on the animal. The machlokes is when it's not on him. But if it's on him, then everybody will agree that it's a good mechira toshma. So I'll prove it to you. We're talking about a case that it's on him. He says mufurish olav. Everything is sold, even what? Even a woman's saddle. Now, says the Gemara, very simple. If we're saying that the machlokes is when it's not on him, like on the bottom two boxes, but if it's on top of the animal, everybody agrees that it's a good sale or money, we're going to say, time out, I skipped. Where am I? Toshma. We're talking about in a case where he said everything that's on the animal. Everything is sold. So stop. Top two boxes. Machlokes is when it's on top of the animal. So we have a machlokes even in this. That's our case that we're talking about. It's on top of the animal. But we have a machlokes. Hamani rabbanani. So yeah, there's a machlokes and rabbanan hold that if it's on him, it's in the sale. But if you go to the bottom two boxes, the machlokes is when it's on the ground. But if it's on top of the animal, according to everybody, it's machor hamani. Who does it go according to? No, we have to say that it goes b'she'ein. It's not the bottom two boxes. Rabbanani. Ubizman, not bizman. In a different case, then it's included. Toshma, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Pamim mechurim, Pamim she'enim mechurim. Sometimes, in our Mishnah, we just had this Rabbi Yehuda. Sometimes it's included, sometimes not. My love, Amai, the Komer Tanakama, Koi Rabbi Yehuda. What's going on here in the Mishnah? Rabbi Yehuda is adding to the Tanakama, L'chayra. And Rabbi Yehuda is saying in the case of, and he says mufurish. What are the words of Rabbi Yehuda? In the Mishnah, I'm going to read it for you. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Pamim mechurim, Pamim she'enim mechurim. Ketzad, and L'chari is talking about the Tanakama. He's going on the Tanakama. Ketzad hoya chamar lefanav v'kelev alav. He's talking about a case of the kelim on top of the animal. In other words, the Tanakama is also talking about that case. My love, I'm at the comment Tanakama. He's adding to the Tanakama and he's explaining, but it's talking about the same case. So you see that by the Malav is the Machlaikis. Said the Gemara, Loi, Rabbi Yehuda, Ein Chazon. Milsa Achrida Kamar. So let's see, for this we see the Rashbam inside. Milsa Achrida Minu says the Rashbam, Inu Ayru B'Shein Oidan Olav. Not true. We're not talking about Oidan Olav. We're talking about B'Shein Oidan Olav. We're talking about the bottom two boxes. Al B'Oidan Olav Direi Kol Mocher. But when it's on top of the animal, according to everybody, like the bottom box, it's sold. He's not adding to the case. He's arguing on the deal. Even in a case, they're talking about, it's not on top of the animal. And Rabbi Yehuda comes to say, even in a case where it's on top of the animal, sometimes it's not sold. You said it when it's on top of the animal, 100% sold. Says Rabbi Yehuda, I'm going to argue, and you say, no, it's not 100%. Sometimes it's not sold. It's okay. Okay, so this now gets easy. We had this already, and we're going to go all the way to the Mishnah. That's it. So it's halfway down the Amud, and then we'll jump on the bus. The Mishnah we did at Lizenk. The Gemara we did by the crematory. Not all of the Gemara, and maybe some of the Gemara. I don't know if we'll have a chance. Maybe we'll continue it. We just got the images? Oh. The hardship of traveling is one of the biggest problems is the lack of internet. The upload speeds and everything. Okay, Zog the Gemara. Toshma. The oil is falling asleep here. I get it. If you sold the wagon, it doesn't come with the mules. So we had a problem. He says a brisa that's exactly the opposite of the Mishnah, that if you sell a wagon, it does include the mules. We said, right, this is all chazara. What about our Mishnah that says exactly the opposite? Should I chop it up? Should I throw it into shemes? Don't throw it out. To Targum, you have to explain the brisa, it's talking about this difference. When they're connected, they're attached. The wagon is attached to the animals. I don't even know. We don't have it, huh? Okay, fine. Right. The Bryce is talking about that they are attached. That's why they're included in the sale. When you sell the wagon, it includes the animals because they're attached. So the Mishnah says that it's not included in the sale. Must mean that it's not attached. They're not. If the Reish is talking about in our Mishnah that Mishnah over there with the wagon and the animals, they're not attached, they're not connected. So too, our Mishnah of a donkey is also not. Okay, it's a little bit of an interesting thing. If that Mishnah of a wagon with mules is talking about that they're not attached, so they have no connection, so Mamela, our Mishnah is also, when I sell you a donkey, it's also talking about a case where they're not attached. Okay, and what's the Gemara going to say? Not the biggest, what? How does the Gemara usually say? Mili, or whatever it is. This one has its own thing, and that two different cases. Says the Gemara, chopping out all stories, all jokes. We're going weiter. Adarabba. 12 o'clock at night. Adarabba. Emeresha. This we also know. When you sell a ship, it doesn't include the forced labor, the slaves. Today, we were in Majdanek. The forced labor, slaves. Literally, till this very day, I showed a video in Shir of, they go in the ocean, they see a ship, they grab the people, and they force them to work for them for years without any pay or anything. They just capture people and they use them as slaves for the ships. Till this very day. Velois antiki, so when I sell you a ship, it doesn't include the slaves. It doesn't include the antiki, v'amrina, and my antiki. What's antiki? We're talking about the merchandise that's inside the ship. Listen to this. So now we're going to make another interesting kind of connection. If over there by that case, which is a few Mishnayos ago, it's a ship that has merchandise on the ship, Seifenami Boydin Olav. In other words, what the Gemara is trying to do is say, how are you comparing one Mishnah to the other? Because that Mishnah is talking about that it's not connected, so this Mishnah is also talking about that. So let me go 3 Mishnahs ago, and over there it is connected. We're talking about a vital thing about merchandise that's on the ship, so this is going to have to do with a saddle that's on a donkey. Like, what's the connection? Ella Tana Mili Mili Ktani. Obviously, one Mishnah has nothing to do with the other. The 2 separate cases, 2 different cases completely. Don't bring a raya from one Mishnah to the other. Simin Zagom Nisan. Omar Abai. Again, another simple sugya, very simple. Actually, the Gemara that we're not going to be doing tonight is basically Agadata. So maybe we will do it. If the Olam is interested at 2 in the morning, we do a little bit of Agadata at, Minsk. Minsk, okay. It's gewaldig. Oh, those of us who learned in yeshiva, and we used to say that they in Minsk in this. Whose phone is that over there? This is for the thing, for the service. Okay, okay. Zog the Gemara. So these are all simple things. Why are they simple? Because we learned them already. Kulu svirlu. All of these Amoraim, Tanoim, they hold when a person sells something, he sells it with everything that belongs to it, all the tools and all the things that are usually used together with it. Rebbe Lezer, what's the case? It's not Rebbe Lezer. Is Beis Habad, when somebody sells an olive press, mochar sakir. You have a nice picture for that? Can't do it. We had it this morning. Same shear, same everything. Okay. Reb Shimon Gamliel, the Snan, Reb Shimon Gamliel Oimer, Hamoicher Seir, Mocher Sasanter. Who of you remember over here what a santer is? A center. Anybody? It's not basketball, something else. The guy who measures the town. Were you in the shear in the morning? You might have. It's a slave that comes together with the town, and his specialty is one thing. First time we learned it, I spoke about this guy that his whole life, he dedicated his whole life. Yeah, they have beer. Yeah, is that what you want? 25,000 people just heard you asking for beer. But Yishkoyach, it's fine. No, it's not. It's good. This guy, I'm not going to say his name, Barabim, because he's my partner, and. He used to do the shir every single day. I don't know what happened. Now he drinks beer instead. Okay, fine. Zok the Gemara. Wow. So, the Santer, this special individual, his whole life was dedicated to knowing which field belongs to who and where. So when you sell it comes together with the slave. When I sell you the vineyard, you'll see in the video, hopefully, we don't have it of course, but it includes the poles that go into the ground. You'll see a guy on a tractor zooming around and he puts the poles in and that holds up the vineyard. It's included. In other words, when I sell you something, I sell you a vineyard, it includes all the tashmishim of the vineyard. I sell you a olive press, it includes the beam that crushes the olives. I sell you a city, it includes slaves that have to do with the city. So I spoke about this. I even got an email from somebody. This is a sport that not so many frum people are into. So Be'ezer Hashem, one day we're going to get a bunch of people that do scuba dive, maybe in Florida. Rabbi Shapiro, you probably know a bunch of people that could help me out over here. You scuba dive also? That's right. You used to have the whole thing, the BCDs and everything. Anyways, this is called a live aboard. You go when you don't have what to do and you don't learn Torah in your life. it's a dream of mine one day to be able to give a shear. I don't know. You go on one of these boats for like a week, and they take you from scuba dive place to scuba dive place, non-stop. It's like you do 25 dives. That's basically what they do. 25 dives in the craziest places with sharks and this and that most people can't get to because it's too far away from shore. So, but what a lot of these chashuv ones, a lot of the chashuv ones have like this little boat that you can see in the back. They pull it along. So when they get to an area where the large ship can't get to, I already have one client. One guy wants to do like an MDY live aboard. You also want to do? You have to become certified. You have to be experience certified. You have to have 40 dives under your belt to go on one of these. Okay, whatever. We'll talk later. I'm certified since '97. Zog the Gemara. Oh no, sorry. So Bitzis Vidugis is they're both names for this small boat. And that's included in the large boat. Nachamamadi, Hadamoron. Nachamadi says we're talking about a donkey and everything that belongs with the donkey. Oh, we're almost done, Rabbi Yisai. And we even explained this, so it's mamash chazara. Why is it in the Mishnah that says there's a difference when a person says this chamar versus who? Zu and who? Why is the guy saying, I want chamar zu? Say, I want the chamar. What's zu? Again, we're being medaig. We had a few times already in the last few daf where we're medaig in a person's words. A person doesn't stop say things that don't make sense. Although we had a sugya that he does sometimes say shtusim. Fine. Yada the chamar didayu. He knows it. So why did he add the word zu? Mishum Kalov Kamarle. Imagine a guy, let's say, stop throwing this out. A guy has a Ferrari. Okay, the whole neighborhood talks about Moshe Zuchmach, he has a Ferrari. So you go and you want to buy the Ferrari from him. So the Ferrari is sitting right over there, and you say, I want to buy this Ferrari. The word this doesn't, I want to buy a Ferrari. What's this Ferrari? So this Ferrari means this together with the hitch, together with the trailer, together with the cover. It means I want everything that has to do with this Ferrari. That's why you added the word this. Because he wanted to add that I want the additional items that come together with it. But when a person says because he's not even sure, does he own it or not? Oh, reminds me of the Maisa with the guy. A guy sees somebody standing by the bus stop with a dog. So he comes over to him and he says, if I pet your dog, will it bite me? So the guy says, no. So he goes and he pets the dog, and the dog bites his hand. So he said, I thought you said that if I pet your dog, it won't bite me. He says, yeah, he won't bite you. So why did it bite me? Because it's not my dog. So, is this chamar yours? I don't know. You're standing next to chamar, but I first have to make sure it's yours. Is this yours? Yeah, it's mine. Okay, fine. That's why I said who. But who doesn't include additional items? Who is just to verify that he owns it. Zu is not to verify that he owns it. Zu is to say, I want additional items. I don't even know if I should say, Rabbi Yisai, have a wonderful evening. I could say it, but it's not the end of the shir. But we'll say it in the middle of the shir. There's a lot of funny things going on in Belarus. Have a wonderful day. Rabbi Yisai, we're on this amazing trip, and we're here by the cave of the holy Elimelech, Lizenk. And if you ever visited my house, on my door, the front door, I have tefillah from the Elimelech. And it goes something like this. This touches up MDY in a sentence. The achdus of Hasidim with Litvaks, Sfardim with Ashkenazim, as we see on this trip alone, we have it all. And Lili Nishmasa, I just want to learn one Mishnah from today's daf. Hamoicher es hachamoir. Somebody sells a donkey, mocher es hasioch, comes along with the baby donkey. However, mocher es hapara, lo mocher es bino. If you sell a cow, it doesn't include the calf. Mocher ashpa. If you sell a garbage pit, mocher zivla, it comes with the fertilizer. Mocher bar, mocher mimel. You sell a pit, you sell the water. Mocher kaveres, a beehive, mocher dvorim. Mocher shoivach, mocher yoinim. If you sell a dovecot, it comes along with the pigeons. We're here in Majdanek, in the crematorium, where approximately 50,000 or more Yidden were burnt. Kiddush Hashem, and we're learning Lili Nishmasam and Lili Nishmas, the 6 million Yidden that perished during the war. We're all a mess. We all are very emotional now, but we want to learn a little Torah. So we just finished the Mishnah that says, if you sell a donkey, it includes the offspring of the donkey. If you sell a cow, it does not include the offspring. It says, if you said specifically, I want to purchase the donkey and the offspring, so then why is a cow any different? It's unbelievable. I'm thinking now, we're here, and I don't want to make any comparisons, and I don't want to, but these words bring to me, in my mind, as I'm reading them, para ubna, because a lot of the concentration camp was a mother bringing a child. We just heard crazy emotional story from Rabbi Shapiro. I'm not going to go over it now because we don't have the time, but it was about a father and a son. One of the most emotional stories. Kasriel, what was his name? Kasriel Menachem. It just brings that emotion. I know that you're reading it, you don't understand what I'm saying, but Paru B'no Nami. So what's the difference? He said, I want to sell you a nursing cow, a nursing donkey. That's enough for me. So when it's talking about a cow, why did he mention a nursing one? Because he wants a nursing cow for the milk. Why would a person say, I'm giving you a nursing donkey? The what? I'm selling you the donkey and its offspring. So why is he calling it a siach? A donkey who moves just by telling it go, that's a much more valuable donkey versus a donkey that you have to hit and beat. And nachamo, as a remez sheberemez, toch remez of the millions of Yidden that went like a siach. They didn't ask any questions. They were told, go. They went. Go into the gas chambers. They thought they're going for a shower. That was a siach of why the Rebbeinu Shalom did it like that. We don't know. But just to me, it just triggered a thing now that I'm reading it. There's an nafkamina, the donkey who you have to hit is less valuable than the donkey that you just tell it to go and it goes, and that's why it's mentioned. So we're continuing in Minsk. It's 3:30 a.m. There's also a record. Never given shir at 3:30 in the morning. But Torah continues. Torah is everywhere. Torah is at all times, in all places. Omar Shmuel Bar Nachman, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Maidich Siv, Al Ke Yom Ra Moshlim. It's a little bit of a gadata. Therefore, the poets say, HaMoshlim, Elu HaMoshlim B'Yitzram. These are those who control their Yetzer. As the Vilna Gaon says, we're only here, basically, to control our Yetzer, to work in our Midas, to break our Midas. How do you know what Midah you have to break? It's the one that you struggle with. It's a little sign from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the one. Wake up. Work on that one. Bayu Cheshbon. Bayu Cheshbon. Bo'u Nechashev. Come and let's calculate Cheshbon Shalaylam. Hefsed mitzvah keneged schara. Uschara veira keneged efseda. When you miss out on a mitzvah versus the schar and the schar aveira keneged hefsed, I'll ask you a question. I'm thinking about this. I don't know how true it is. If I offered you $1,000 not to put on tefillin tomorrow morning, would anybody take it? So does that mean that the mitzvah is worth at least $1,000? I don't know. You have to think about it. I'm offering you $1,000 not to do it. You say absolutely not. So is it worth at least $1,000? It's okay. We don't hear. It's Seder. Tibana v'sikoinen im ata oisekein tibana b'olam hazeh v'sikoinen l'olam haba. You'll be well established in olam haba if you do this. If you think about the schar mitzvah versus the hefsed mitzvah. Nachamal, that famous part of the Vilna Gaon, that a person that does an aveira, he has a hefsed mitzvah. Not only does he do an aveira, but he has a hefsed mitzvah. Okay. If you put yourself like a young animal, and we spoke about it earlier today, that just without hitting it, you just say something to it and it moves. You say go, and it knows, it understands your language. But on the flip side, what we're trying to say is that a person who goes after an aveira with nothing, doesn't take a lot of convincing. Fire comes out of cheshbon. Will eat up as she'enam mechashvim. V'l'hava mikir hasichoin, mikir hasadikim shenikru sichin, which are trees, ochla or moyav. Zeh mahalach achar yitzroi. This is the guy that goes after his yetzer. Ka'ayir zish mahalach achar sichon. No. You know what? We'll stop over here because I don't want to be over on Tsar Balachayim. We'll continue at 4:30 in the morning somewhere else. Have a wonderful day.